Welcome to the Limitless Health Podcast. We're really excited to have Rachelle Davis on with us today. And where we want to kind of get started is, could you tell us a bit about your background and how you got from being an Air Force veteran to a holistic health coach? That's quite a journey. How in the world did that happen?
I enjoyed my time in the Air Force. I love to travel and whatnot, but I've always had somewhat of an affinity for natural health, just healing a person naturally through natural remedies, that type of thing. So I guess I could say around 2000, I guess, as a civilian contractor, I just felt like, I wanted to do something along the lines of holistic healing and learning about, how to heal, myself through natural methods. So I had decided to study and become a certified holistic health coach through IIN out of New York City. It's, if you haven't heard of it, it's the Integrative Institute of Nutrition. So that was an online course, and I completed that within a year. So my last year of contracting overseas, I was studying, and by the time I came home, I got my certification. But it was the last 6 months where I was experiencing lots of stress, working a schedule of 12 to 14-hour days, 7 days a week
Wow.
overseas. And I was on my last 6 months, and I decided to just work the whole time through, where normally we would take like every 3 to 4 months, we would take what is called an R&R and
Mhm.
just, rest and vacation and kind of rejuvenate type of thing. So it was through that last 6 months that propelled me into what I was experiencing about a month and a half after I returned home. And so basically I was very much, like I said, under stress. I had a horrible supervisor. I was working, that schedule nonstop. And also I was working nights. So it really kind of threw off my circadian rhythm. And I honestly didn't even realize, that I was under so much stress because, we think, okay, we're just going to fight our way through it and we'll just do whatever we have to do to get through whatever, we're experiencing. So it was that month and a half after about that I started experiencing symptoms and I didn't know what it was at first.
Amazing. Is that when you found that you had chronic fatigue, correct?
So, what happened was I was experiencing symptoms like, trying to get to sleep at night, waking up perhaps in the middle of the night, maybe about 3 o'clock in the morning with hot flashes, or, if I did get to rest that night before, I'd wake up feeling like I didn't get any rest. I did get a physical. And at that physical, what I found out was that my blood pressure was high. And so my doctor wanted to put me on medication. I'm like, no, if there's something I need to do, if I should eat something or shouldn't be eating something, let me try out, my dietary changes. So then after that, experiencing the hot flashes and whatnot, I went and got acupuncture. And so that acupuncturist thought, oh, well, maybe, because I was 42 at the time, maybe
Hmm.
you're starting to, experience early signs of menopause or something. Like, no, I don't think that's it. Because I was also having, issues with my gut as well. I
Mhm.
had also injured myself when, just stretching and exercising. So those were all symptoms that I was experiencing. And I was like, I don't know if it's just as simple as saying, oh, I'm starting to go through menopause. But then because I had also just, gotten my certification as a holistic health coach, I decided that, oh, let me go to a seminar. I was trying to gain as much knowledge as possible. I thought maybe as a health coach, I would start out by helping people with gut issues. But once I went to this seminar, and this seminar was on stress, just going through the seminar, some of the stuff started to sound a little familiar, like, wow, maybe I was experiencing, stress, and I
Yeah.
just didn't realize it. So, along with the seminar was a physical. And I found out that, it was an acupuncturist giving this physical.
Hmm.
And what was so special about this acupuncturist is he went to school 4 years in the East and 4 years in the West. And then he combined that education to, use in his practice. So when I explained to him all the different symptoms that I had been experiencing, he's the one that actually diagnosed me. And when it comes to the high blood pressure that I was experiencing, he had me stand up and take my blood pressure, which would normally be a working position, and it would be high automatically. Then he had me sit down and take my blood pressure, and it was higher, which it
Hmm.
should have been lower in the,
Yeah.
resting position. So I learned that that was just another symptom of chronic fatigue syndrome that you would never catch just going to a regular physician. But it's just amazing how the blood pressure was flipped as far as how that works. Yeah.
It should be interesting. And
Sure.
is high blood pressure something that you experienced before, or is that new?
Never, never, ever. I've never had high blood pressure. I've always been active and I've always had low. It's always been, low
Mhm.
or normal. Yeah. So I've never experienced that before.
A lot of
It,
the things that you've mentioned, many women that we talk to have dealt with these issues, hot
Mhm.
flashes, low
Mhm.
energy, and now the high blood pressure thing, or even the low
Yes.
blood pressure issue. You stand up, you get that dizzy spell. It's always affected. So it's great to talk about these things so other women can relate to what's going on and think, I'm not alone. There's someone else out there who understands me. It's great you're sharing this story and that other women can connect with this to know that there's resources out there as we get through to find out how you help people later on.
it's
Yes.
so common too that like the doctor had said to you, oh, maybe you're getting towards the phase of menopause, and it's like we just dismiss these things as, oh, it's normal. It's a normal part of aging. It's a normal part of being a woman. And we work with a lot of women. It's the same for us too, where we are the, I don't want to swear on my podcast, but we are the get shit done people, and you just push through things, right?
Mhm.
It's you don't understand
Yes.
that these symptoms are a problem. It's like, oh, that's just normal for me. I just need to get through it. And it's actually warning signs from your body that there's something going on and something needs your help, right? So with the chronic fatigue, how did that impact your life once you realized what was going on? What changes did you have to make?
Oh, yeah. So I had to make, of course, dietary changes. So, you got to stay away from processed foods. Okay. I could not really eat any sugar at all. And sugar in any food, you really had to watch, what you eat and how much you eat and when you eat. I remember eating a brownie, okay, or a cookie or something like that. And it would just absolutely force me to take a nap. Okay. I felt so lethargic and so fatigued that I had to take a nap for a few hours. So, I mean, those are just some things that I had to stay away from. Sugar, exercise, I couldn't do regular cardio exercise. I couldn't do that at all. I had to do yoga. I had to, go outside, walk in the fresh air, that
Mhm.
type of thing. And bedtime. I had to have a set bedtime too. So,
Yeah.
It
yeah.
really
Mhm.
speaks to the stress on your body that you couldn't do those more intense workouts that your body
Mhm.
really gravitated towards something
Right.
calmer.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
it's great that you listened as well, because as we already mentioned, it's so easy to just kind of force yourself to keep doing all the things that you need to do because many women who are listening have kids, they have families, there's so many things that they have on their plates that they need to keep doing. And what other than pardon me, other than fatigue, what are other symptoms that you've dealt with?
Okay, so there's brain fog and some symptoms that I didn't necessarily deal with, but swollen lymph nodes because your immune system is also affected. So you can sore throat. Those are just some other, and sometimes, pain, muscle pain as well. Like I did injure myself. So I don't know if I pulled a ligament or what I did, but I was just stretching, like I would normally stretch, but I ended up injuring myself. So, yeah, those are just some things that you have to look out for.
Amazing. And so you mentioned that exercise changed, obviously, or no
Mhm.
more high intensity, no more going for long runs. So you were doing things like yoga, things like stretching, and also that diet changed. Sugar had to go. Sugar was a really big problem. Was there anything else that you were doing, like anything mindset related, or what would you say was the most pivotal change you made that helped with your journey?
Well, meditation, I mean, I think that definitely changed a lot because I would meditate, here and there, off and on, but meditation is so important. I mean, it just kind of opened up my whole world spiritually. And when I started meditating, well, when I meditate, I see colors. So
Oh,
I
cool.
kind of relate those to my chakras and whatnot. And that's how I know for me that it's working, you know. But meditation helps you sleep, you know. That's one thing it does. It's just helps you calm down, you know, helps you to focus and whatnot. And so that's one thing that helps.
Would you say that's very grounding
Oh,
and
yeah. And
brings you back into your body?
speaking of grounding, that's one thing that I did also. I slept
Mhm.
on like a grounding mat. I would go outside and ground my feet in the grass and whatnot. And just, you know, walking in the forest is grounding as well. So that is another thing, the grounding. Yes.
Very nice.
Amazing. What inspired you to get into being certified as a health coach?
Yeah, so I enjoy learning, you know. That's the biggest thing. And then I've also always had kind of, you know, an attraction to health and, you know, just stop drinking soda, stop, you know, eating sugar, you know, so I've always kind of lived a lifestyle like that. And so I felt like, you know what, if this is something that I can do, then I believe that I can help others as well.
Can you share a success story of someone that you've helped who is struggling with chronic fatigue or maybe some other, maybe severe situation that really affected their lives?
Let me think. Yeah, I guess just going through my program, when I like to direct my students, you know, I have a whole coaching course, and
Mhm.
then also it involves community support as well. So, you know, like I tell my students, basically what I did, it's not easy, but the thing is, you have to stick to it. And as long as you maintain a routine and keep track, for example, I created a planner, it's an instructional planner, and also I created a journal so that people can track their progress. So you know that, okay, I tried this or I ate that. This is how I'm feeling, or I continued to follow this particular regimen for so long. And now I can start to see, you know, that I'm starting to heal. So basically, I tell my students, you know, as long as you start tracking and maintain, you know, your daily regimen, then you will see results. And that's what usually happens for people. Yeah.
That's awesome to have something for them to track so they can see because we're very sometimes present moment and we forget the progress that we've made. So actually to have it written down is
Mhm.
very important. And I also like the that you've included a community because having other people who are going through similar things there to support you and just kind of help you through is such an important thing. So that's an amazing thing for anybody, but especially women to be able
Yeah.
to connect in. So it's very, very important.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of you hear, well, I've heard from through my healing journey as well, like we all go through something. And often as health coaches, we do have a history of something that's happened to us, but you can't model what you can't see. So I think it's very helpful that people do have you as that
Mhm.
model to be able to say, okay, so because we're often told with chronic health stuff, there's nothing you can do. You just have to live with it. You're fine, or you can go to your doctor, your family doctor, and blood work comes back as normal. Everything comes back as normal. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just a normal part of aging. And so to have someone who's like, hey, this is the experience I went through, and I was here like in a bad place, and now I'm in a good place, that's possible for you. I think that's so powerful. So it's great that you're sharing that. Looking back on your journey, what was the most surprising thing that you learned about yourself through the process?
Yeah, that I guess that I'm not made of steel. You know what I mean? That hey, this I never ever had heard of chronic fatigue syndrome before I discovered that I had it. And then it was kind of like, wow, you know, looking back, it's like, wow, how do people recover from this? Sometimes their doctors don't even believe them, you know, that they have this. But I think the biggest thing is to be your own advocate. And I know that if I was not my own advocate, if I didn't believe that I could heal, that I could figure it out on my own, then it probably never would have happened because when the doctors say there's nothing that can be done, that means they can't do anything for you,
Mhm.
basically. But we don't just have to rely on Western medicine, you know? There's other forms of medicine out there, whether it's Ayurvedic or Eastern, you know, and they don't all, you know, work the same, you know, because even with traditional Chinese medicine, they look at body systems, you know. So it's best to keep an open mind, and sometimes you just have to, you know, take a different approach, but always be your own advocate. Yeah, that's what I would say.
it kind of goes to the question I think I was just going to ask, like, what message do you have for those who feel like they've tried everything?
Yeah.
And I think that really speaks to that.
Yep. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't lose hope. And there is someone out there that's probably experienced what you have, and you just have to, find your community,
Mhm.
basically.
And the
And
community
your
that will
support.
support you to get to a healthier place rather than the many support groups out there that keep you stuck in being sick or whatever your condition
Yeah.
happens to be.
Yeah, that's very true, because it's like, okay, you can be in a group and everybody, okay, is complaining or, just
Mhm.
sharing what they're feeling, but how do you get to, an actual resolve for your health issues? Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing to actually get to that next part? You need to be doing something, whether it's
Exactly. Exactly.
changing what you're eating, mindset work, meditation, working out, whatever moves your body around so you can, there's so many layers to the health journey. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So you went from the VA, you went to the VA hospital initially, right? And then ended
Yes.
up going to the acupuncturist. How did that happen? What was your experience like at the VA hospital? Let's start with that.
So, it's pretty much like traditional. You go in there, you may have an issue or whatever, and they can only do so much. They're kind of like a primary care doctor. And so I guess the issue has to be enough, extenuating enough, serious enough for them to maybe refer you to an outside source. But I've always been a person who likes to try out different modalities when it comes to health. So even though, I just went there for a physical, I was still going to try and find a different approach to understand what was going on with my body, you
Mhm.
know? I don't know that my practitioner there would have really been able to diagnose me, though. Yeah, I don't know that she would have, you know?
It's interesting you talking about that because you already, to me, had a sense of the intuition of the outcome that you wanted. You already
Mhm.
knew you weren't going to go a certain direction, which was Western medicine or medications for that matter. So going into that and knowing that you're going to be doing something different that's against the grain, and there's a lot of women out there who we've chatted with before who there can be shame or guilt around doing something different. Is there any advice you have for someone who might be in that position who is looking to do something different?
Shame or guilt? Yeah, I think that if you continue to do the same thing, then I guess you're gonna continue to get the same results.
Mhm.
And you are not like anybody else. So you have to advocate for your own health. And if you truly want to get well, we don't want to just put a band-aid on things. If you
Absolutely.
truly want to understand and get well, then you're just gonna have to do something different, you know. If you want a different result, then you got to do something different. And
Yeah,
that's to
I agree.
heal. Yeah.
And I
It's
think
so
listening to
true.
yourself and your own intuition is very key as well, not letting someone else sway you away from that.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what? The doctors feel like, oh, whatever they say is the last
Mhm.
word, and that
Mhm.
just simply isn't the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Mm.
So after the VA hospital, your next step was you went to this stress seminar, correct? And
Mhm.
that's where you
Mhm.
found the acupuncturist that was actually able to help you,
Yes,
correct?
yes, I
What drew
did.
you to the stress seminar?
Well, so I thought I was just gonna, expand my mind, learn a little bit more and maybe apply it to, my practice as a health coach. And so I said, okay, well, I don't, let's go there and learn something new. I don't, feel like I know everything. So, I don't mind going and, learning.
Mhm.
And it just happened to be on stress. I don't know, it just all came full circle. I guess I was meant to go to that seminar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There was a reason you were drawn there for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you find a lot of your clients' stress is a factor that's affecting them as well?
Yeah, I think maybe people don't realize it. Like I didn't realize it, okay? Because like I said, you just think you're trying to work your way through a situation.
Yeah.
But then when you start experiencing all these other symptoms, you're kind of like, hold on, how did I get here? You know? Because people feel like, okay, I have to work this job. I have to do this to get money. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it may or may not be what they're passionate about or not. They just feel like I have to work this job to make this money.
Yeah. And so much of that can be connected to beliefs as well, right? If you're brought up with a
That's
belief
true.
that,
Mhm.
money is the most important thing, or
Mhm.
going to my primary care physician is the thing that I need to do if I'm not feeling well, and to challenge and question those beliefs can be difficult. And that's where, as Amanda said, there can be pushback from family, from other people, like, oh,
Mhm.
what are you doing? Because you're going against the grain. But it's true. We do have to advocate for our own health, and if the things that you're doing aren't working, you need to keep looking, right? Which thankfully, I think a lot of people are becoming more open to, which is
Mhm.
great. But like you already shared a message, which was awesome to our listeners. But if someone is looking to connect with you, where can they find you? Where's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so my website is
Hmm.
askahealth.coach. And you can sign up for a discovery call, schedule a consultation, reach out to me, whatever. My email is on there as well. And so that is the best way to reach me. Yes.
Amazing. Are you on any social media platforms as well?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I mostly work on LinkedIn for the most part. I think people are more serious on that particular site.
That's true. It's not women dancing to funny videos on
Right.
TikTok.
Definitely a different
Yeah.
vibe.
It
Hmm.
is. I mean, we'll
Hmm. But
share your information in the show notes for sure as well, but like who's the ideal person that you like to work with?
well, I would say maybe mid-level executive
Hmm.
person who's trying to regain their vitality and energy, just maybe overworked they're feeling and, trying to drink caffeine, and yet it just isn't working because, when you have chronic fatigue, caffeine is the worst thing that you can drink. So maybe they're just all out of ideas or not getting any results from the doctors and they're looking for, some actionable solutions, a program they can follow that's easy.
Amazing. And I think it's super valuable that you do have experience with your, as you
Hmm.
said, like 14-hour days and 7 days, maybe longer than
Yeah.
that, and 7 days a week, and then just push through and get it done. And for
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
demographic that you're talking about, that's their life. And they think that it's
Hmm.
normal. And it gets to the point where the body's just like, nope, I
Hmm.
can't do this anymore. And that's when health problems start to show up. So that's great that that's an industry or a niche that you're serving, because things crumble when you don't give your body support. Like if we don't have our health, what do we have? I think
That's
that's
true.
amazing.
Mhm. Definitely.
Do you have any final thoughts or advice for our audience who maybe they're just dealing with these health issues and they just need that one little thing to kind of help them in the right direction?
Yeah. So I guess you just need to know that this is not a difficult program that I offer. Anybody can go through my program. There are simple solutions that anybody can implement. And I've pretty much spelled it all out with my videos in my
Amazing.
planner. So anybody who feels like they've lost hope, here to tell you today that there is hope and there is a way to heal. And you don't have to live this way for the rest of your life. I know that there's probably about 3 million people in the US that either go undiagnosed or
Crazy.
untreated with chronic fatigue syndrome. So I think it's important if people, really want to get their lives back to, reach out to me. I'm here to help.
Amazing. Is there anything that you can think of that we didn't ask that our listeners should know? Anything about you, about your
Mm,
program? Anything?
No, but I do have a free book for anybody. It's called Balance and Boost for anyone interested. It's just Ayurvedic drinks for people to help them boost their energy and whatnot.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
Awesome. Yeah, if
it's
you're
on
okay
my
with that,
site.
we'll share that in the show notes as well.
It's on my site. So yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. Well,
Perfect.
thank you very much for having or for being on our show today. This was great. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey. And this is where I think we try and bring as many people on the show as we can who have had experiences like you have. Because as I said, you can't model what you haven't seen or what you can't see. And so when you don't know that there are people that are going from a really rough place or a time where their health is going down, and hearing medicine say, oh, there's nothing you can do, to see
Mhm.
people who have done it and have gotten to the other side and are living amazing lives is so powerful and helpful for people.
And
So
really proves those beliefs incorrect if you
yeah,
believe you
yeah,
cannot get better. So,
Yes.
exactly. So yeah, your story truly inspiring. So thank you very much for sharing this. We will share all of Rachelle's information in the show notes. If you're interested in it, make sure you reach out to her. Definitely check out on the website the free Ayurvedic, what did you call it? The guide?
Balance and boost
Yeah,
drinks to boost your energy. Yes.
Very nice.
amazing.
Thank you
So
for having me.
pleasure. All right. Well, thank you everyone for checking out this episode. Hope you got some value from it. Make sure you check out Rachelle's details and information because she has a lot of value to share. And we will see you all on the next one.